3 must-know secrets to confidently leverage your company. Today's conversation is sponsored by the Billy Keels Advisory Program. If you want to learn more about how to make your 9-to-5 optional, just go to billykeels.com/advising. Once again, that's billykeels.com/advising. 3 must-know secrets to confidently leverage your company is one of these episodes that is going to help you because it's going to give you clarity, once again, and you know I love clarity, on really understanding what the dynamic is when you are in your corporate role, even if you've been in it over 15 years and you're completely drinking the Kool-Aid, you like the role, and you're even in a point, listen to this, that you're putting your own company's goals ahead of your life goals. You're the only person that can answer that, and you have to answer it by yourself. Because if you answer it in public, there's maybe less of a chance that you're going to be, let's call it 100% truthful with yourself. But anyway, if that sounds familiar, listen to this episode because it's really going to help you address the elephant in the room and help you feel more comfortable being able to confidently leverage your company. Because guess what? It's been doing it to you for quite a long time, and you're okay with it. You even have a smile on your face. So in all of that, kind of a little bit tongue in cheek, but this episode, it's inspired by a recent Q&A that we did, and that was episode 476. But I wanted to go back to the question because the Q&A is something that I really, really enjoy, and I want to bring you more answers. But episode 476, if you want to get an idea of what that sounds like, you can go listen to it. But one of the questions, kind of the genesis of the question, has really inspired this episode so that you have the 3 must-know secrets that you have to confidently leverage your company. Confidently do it. And what I mean by that is, the question that came up in the previous episode was, it asked me primarily about why I left corporate and what were the keys to the success of corporate when I was there. And then when I started thinking about it, it was like a lot of people don't necessarily buy into the philosophy. They buy into the philosophy of this because there's just all this rage, quit your job, corporate sucks, and blah, 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 blah. I don't buy into that. Like, I don't believe in burning the bridges. I don't believe in telling people to quit their jobs to go out and do that because it just doesn't make sense. Especially if you come from a background like mine, which was lower middle class, working class, watching your parents work multiple jobs all the time. Like, you work too hard to get here. So why would you just do something as senseless, the way that you're going to perceive it, as just quit your job, the security, all the reliability, all of the equity that you built up in your brand at the company doing hard work. Don't quit your job. Don't burn the bridges. Anyway, let me not go on too much of a tangent. Because at the same time, when you're thinking about how can you start to make the job, like you want to slow the rat race wheel, like that hamster wheel that you're running around, you just want to slow it down because you don't want to work so hard. You want to be able to get maximum output and not have to put in the same amount of time, effort, and energy, and also be able to invest your time in things that make sense. Of course, you want to make money. I wanted to make money. I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to make as much money as possible because of the background I come from. And I wanted to be able to enjoy the options. And at the same time, the thing that I really, really, really wanted, it wasn't freedom, because guess what? I was already free. I just wanted increased control of the way that I use my time. Spoiler alert, a lot of people don't talk about that. I'm here to talk about it. And guess what? Moving forward, you're going to hear me talk a lot more about it because it's true. It's true. I just wanted to have more control over my time. And by like 3 of the strategies that I'm going to talk to you about that are going to help you confidently leverage your company in the same way that it's leveraging you. Like, don't get it twisted. It's not a bad thing. But when we figure this out, like, you're going to realize, like, it is about how do you control your time. You're already free. You've been free for a long time. That's the spoiler. But here's the thing. Because I started realizing, like, when I was in my corporate role, and this is just to also help maybe set the scene for you a bit. Like, I really liked my corporate experience. It was 26 years and I really enjoyed it. And to this day, I tell people, I'll even get on stage. I was recently on stage telling people how much I enjoyed the corporate experience. And I will continue to do that because it was very good to me. I was also very good to corporate. Like, I help the companies I make that I worked for a lot of money. and a good brand in the marketplace and good employees that were out representing the company and the brand. I was selling software. I was managing projects. I was hiring and developing new talent, right? As a leader in the sales area. I was also out representing the company in different activities, philanthropic and others. Right. So I helped inject more goodwill from the companies that I worked into the community. I also helped them make money, helped them be profitable. I did all of those things. And in return, I got more benefits. I got security. I got training. I got development as well. And so it was really, really cool. But what I started realizing was as I was going through this whole process, and this is why I say it's really important for you to understand that these three must know secrets so that you can confidently leverage your company. Because you shouldn't do it like I was doing in the beginning, and I was scared and I was nervous and I didn't want people to think the wrong thing about me if they found out that I had this whole unique concept that I was actually building and helping and actually creating my own life, right? In parallel, while I was overachieving and crushing the targets in my corporate role. So when I started seeing other execs that were already out there, they had their own unique concept. They were building online businesses. They were making money. They were doing that outside of the office. There were other people that were investing in real estate and doing it successfully. There were other people that were had non-competing consultancies for the type of business that I was in. Like they were in consultancy, but not for the same type of software that like our company was building, but they were consulting using their own intellectual property to drive value for other people. I even had one executive. It was super awesome. Like he had a business that was like around boats and boat rentals, high-end boats, right? Not paddle boats. But like when I started seeing these proofs of concept POCs of other execs that were doing this like me, I was like, I'm intrigued. I got to figure out how do I make this happen even more. But before I opened my mouth, I didn't recognize that other people were doing it. But once I started talking about it, guess what? Proof points began to appear in my life. And so that was when it was time for me to just kind of sit down. I was like, I got to get this all together. Now, I didn't have the whole picture figured out exactly perfectly, but I'm here to tell you that I knew that it took 3 pillars to get super crystal clear. And I even broke that down for you, like not too many episodes ago in episode 478. Check that out because these set you up to understand what you need to be able to ultimately make your 9 to 9 optional. But we're digging into one of the areas right now, which is to figure out, okay, how do you effectively and confidently leverage your corporate role? And so I wanted to get the role under control, first and foremost, making sure that, and this is with perspective, right? How was I able to get to a point where for 10 years, I was able to build a business on the side and do it effectively? Well, because number one, I was able to perform in my job during the day. I was able to go full throttle in my corporate role. Like I was hitting on all cylinders, all my key performance indicators. And when I had management by objectives, either KPIs or MBOs, I was doing above what was expected in my job. And you know what? When you're hitting your KPIs, what does that do? It gives you this runway that you can start to put things in full throttle and get ready to take off. That was the first thing. And then afterwards, I figured, you know what? This is the thing that nobody talks about. Also, in the massive, massive companies, you're probably in a bunch of meetings and stuff that you add no value to, and you've done nothing. You just sit there. You're wasting a lot of time. Why? Because there's a lot of fat inside of corporate. It's not your fault. You didn't create it, but you shouldn't add to it. So be aware of it. Just be aware of it, right? And make sure that you continue to perform, because being able to go full throttle, that's the first part. The second part is recognizing where is the corporate fat. Understand where it is. Are you a part of it? Or are you detracting from it? Because you should be helping make it more productive, not wasting corporate time. Do things that are productive in your role. And then lastly, when you get to that point, make sure that you're at a point where you can actually put the role on cruise control. I was talking to a client today, able to put the role on cruise control. Why? Because they're overperforming in the role. They're able to make sure that they're in this productive spaces all the time. And so then afterwards, you're there and you're doing maintenance. You're making sure that you continue to be productive, and that productivity drives the KPIs, the key performance indicators, and the MBOs. Those are the 3 must-know secrets so that you can confidently leverage your corporate role. Because when you're clicking on all cylinders with those 3, guess what? Life starts to feel good. You're able to perform. you're overachieving, you're getting your bonus checks, you're where you need to be, when you need to be, you're leveraging your company just like it's leveraging you. And you know what? You're absolutely able to manage it. Just like a massive cruise ship that's out there and you're on cruise control. You're able to do that. The biggest challenge you have when you recognize these 3 must-knows is that you've been programmed to do something very, very differently. And you're going to have a bunch of internal conflict going on. I can promise you that because it was happening to me all the time. This is when your clarity comes into play. This is when also too making sure that you understand how to effectively leverage your corporate role, your big company role, your company in the same way that it does you, because that's what the company wants is for you to perform. And what you want to do is be a happy employee. I used to say I was all the time. So when this internal conflict that comes up, it's part of the process, right? And by the way, if I didn't mention it before, check out episode 478. You can check that out because it'll talk to you about exactly what are the high level three things that you need to do to make your 99 optional. But when I think about how I was able to leverage for that 10-year period, was able to leverage my corporate role, just like corporate was leveraging me, my skills, my assets, my talents, I was able to have the corporate life at 48. And then with the choice to decide whether or not if I would ever go back or not. But you know what? That wasn't even the most important part when I realized what it was about to be leveraging the company. It was okay for me, just like it's okay for you to leverage the corporate machine, just like the machine leverages you. It's okay. As long as you're performing in your role, and even better when you're overperforming in your role. Why not build your side business? Why not build a passion product? Why not go and develop and craft your own unique concept so that you can enjoy the life at the office and you can enjoy life outside of the office with the people that you love the most, doing the things that you love the most, when and where you want to do it the most. It's a win-win. That's it. But these are 3 must-know secrets to confidently leverage your company. That's what I wanted to share with you. And I know that you know somebody who's struggling today. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to build this kind of like unique concept. This either start to build a business on the side. They may need some help. They want to go into something else so that they can start to be able to create more ownership and control of the life and the time that they have. Share the episode with them. Take today's episode, share it with them. And then, you know what? Share and care. After you share it, show them that you care. Get on the phone with them. Talk about the episode. Show them, be there for them so that you can talk about the concepts. If you have any questions, send them over to me. You can put them in a review. That'd be great. It'd be awesome. And guess what? While you're doing that, you know where I'll be? I'll be right here. I really, really love it here. Can you feel it? Can you feel the energy? I love it. I'll be here ready to share the next episode. So until then, go out and make it a great day. And I want to say thank you very, very much. Freedom! Today's conversation was sponsored by the Billy Keels Advisory Program. If you're looking to make your 9-to-5 optional and need some help, just go to billykeels.com/advising. Once again, that's billykeels.com/advising.